Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif, an urban planner, and you're more than welcome to join my big journey of exploring the making of smarter and more livable cities. Please don't forget to follow Urbanistica on the different social media platforms, and also let's connect on LinkedIn. Big thanks to Urbanistica podcast partner AFRI. AFRI is an international engineering and design company providing sustainable solutions in the fields of energy, industry, and infrastructure. Are you ready for a new episode? Let's go for it. We have a great storyteller. I have the pleasure to welcome you, Rodrigo Pencheff, to Urbanistica podcast. Hey, and welcome.
Thanks, and appreciate your introduction.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to see you. Finally, you're here.
Yeah.
We tried to get this like for 1 year ago.
We tried this for a while, and we could have made it because we're sitting
next to each other.
But
every time I tell them, okay, let's record this day, but then like some project or some workshop, then we move it to the next month, and then next month to the next month. But you're here. I'm happy.
Finally.
Yeah. And also I just asked you about your name.
Well, my name is Rodrigo Pencheff, but my full name is Rodrigo Alejandro Pencheff Araneda.
Yeah, I will never make it.
Like Spanish original Spanish.
Yeah.
Speaking people have 4 names
awesome.
At least.
Awesome. So how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
It's good to be back to the work.
It's good to be back at work after the holidays.
Yeah.
But sadly enough, it's not too much people at work.
Yeah, I see.
And you have to choose your days to come and.
Okay, so you have like kind of system?
No, I mean, I don't really know what's happening, but most of the time they want you to work from at home.
Yeah.
Today we had to do a site visiting.
Yeah.
So we decided to come to the office. But I guess it's the same for most people right now.
Yeah.
It's like one day the office is open, and now this period of time the office is closed due to the pandemic.
Do you miss coming here?
I miss coming here. I really like to come to the office. I mean, at least I like to see people, and that's the thing. I mean, some days I like to work alone.
Yeah.
But most of the time I like to, even if I'm working alone, I want to have somebody close and, drink a coffee with and just say hi to and see some people. I mean, I guess in the long run, I like to go somewhere and work with people.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's social being, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I can feel that. I mean, sometimes when I've been working at home, it's like, I know what I have to do, but it's like I can't really do it the proper way.
Yeah.
It feels like you have to be here. Or, I don't know.
I understand. So me and the listener interested to know more about you. So how would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us about you, your background, your journey.
Well, my whole life, except the last 2.5 years, I only worked with music as an artist, as a producer, as a, a songwriter. But I started to work within lighting 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So what I have in my body is music. And that's like my foundation, you can say. And I started kind of early. I mean, I started early with music. I got interested in music when I was very small.
Yeah.
But my occupation, when I could say that my salary comes from music, was when I was like 19 years old.
19. Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us more like where you grew up, your family.
Well, my parents are originally from Latin America. My mother's from Chile, my father from Uruguay. and I was born in Buenos Aires,
Wow.
Argentina. So when people ask me where I'm from, I first say I don't know. But then and then if you live in Stockholm or Sweden, then I tell them, I don't really know, but well, you can say I'm from Rinkeby. And then people would understand, because I came, I was like 3 or 4 months old when I came to Sweden.
Okay.
So I really grew up in Sweden. And we moved to Rinkeby.
Yeah.
When we moved here, Rinkeby was new. It was like a new place. It was part of the
like a newly built.
The million program they had here in Sweden.
Yeah.
Was gonna build 1 million
housing units.
Yeah, and so that's my foundation.
Yeah.
Well, and then what more can I say? For me, at home there was always music, different kind of music, and as my father was very into art, and he drew a lot and painted, and he liked also calligraphy, like letters and stuff. So there was a lot of stuff like that at home, and but I really wasn't into a certain type of music or anything until in the early 80s, hip hop came to Sweden. And I mean, I guess it didn't only come to Sweden, it came to the rest of the world outside of the US. So when hip hop came as a package, you had graffiti, break dancing, DJing, rapping, and it came as a package.
Wow.
And that kind of like grabbed a hold of me.
But that time, how were you introduced, or the hip hop introduced to you? Because I guess there's no internet and like now iPhones and stuff.
I think that the biggest thing was the biggest media outlets was, I guess, television and radio.
Okay.
In Sweden, we only had 2 channels back in the days. Only SVT1, SVT2, or I think it was Kanal 1, Kanal 2.
Okay.
So everything that was showing there really, really made an impact on people.
Yeah.
Because everybody saw the same programs and stuff. You didn't have more to choose from. So with that, I think it started with on the news, they were showing a little bit of the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
There was 2 movies shown. One movie was called Style Wars, that was shown in the Swedish television, and another one was I think it was called Planet Rock or something. There's another one about hip hop, and from there the interest began. And then around my area, we had the local radio, also, which is närradio, which is like, and it was broadcasted from Rinkeby actually. And that radio station, I think, made a great impact because they were playing a lot of funk originally. But I think that when hip hop came, hip hop started to be played there too.
Yeah.
So whenever you listen to the radio, you could hear it, So I think that was some things that made it interesting for me. And also, thinking back about it, it was what we saw on TV and heard on radio. We couldn't really connect with it, being an immigrant from where we were living, because they were more like, you couldn't really identify with the artists you saw. But when hip hop came, it was more like, oh, blacks, Latino.
You could see yourself.
Everybody's not, because you only saw white people on TV.
I understand,
before,
yeah.
Especially in the 80s, and we lived in Sweden.
Yeah. Which
is natural. So I think it's kind of like I could identify with it, and it was a little bit, like most movements or young people, they get attracted to something that's different from maybe what your parents like, you know. And you know, the it was kind of a you want to rebel a little bit. And I think hip hop had that, but in a positive way, especially when it came, because it was a lot of, you know, break dancing. It was sports. You moved.
Yeah.
It was something positive. Graffiti was art. Okay, it was illegal to paint graffiti on the walls, but it's art. Dealing with art.
Yeah.
Hip hop also. Rap was, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of creativity.
I think that somebody said that if when hip hop started, when it came, somebody said if Martians or aliens would come to the world, they would rap because it's something new. It was something unheard of.
Yeah.
It was always singing.
Wow.
But rap is like, it was a brand new kind of way to express yourself musically.
So how did you start? Like, what did you start with?
I did everything.
Really?
I think I started to dance, break dance.
Really?
And listen to it. And then from there, you always have some friend that has an older brother that probably, you know, is painting graffiti or something. Then you follow them, and then you try that. And maybe the next step, you try to. I used to try to make mixes with the cassette players, like double deckers. And, you know, from there you started to loop parts of songs. And from there probably you start to try to record, because you really didn't have any studio.
No.
And then the next step probably was trying to use the turntables at home and scratch and destroy your parents' records and stuff like that. But I think that what happened here in Sweden or around me was like you were trying to find out how to be part of this.
Yeah.
And in those days, it was very different from how it is now. The technology right now is very advanced and is very accessible for young people.
Yeah.
Everybody can have a studio. Everybody can have a podcast.
Exactly.
Anywhere. You can carry this all around. That didn't exist back in the days. And especially when hip hop was new and didn't have any roots here in Sweden, nobody, no grown-ups knew how to help the young people with it, so to speak. We didn't have a studio. We went to probably the Ungdomsgård, where the young people could have access to
like youth hub. Or, yeah.
But they didn't know what hip hop was. We wanted probably to have a sampler. We probably wanted to have some turntables. We probably wanted to have some drum machines. But all they had was like a guitar amp that was broken, a guitar without strings. So we really had to like invent everything our way.
Yeah.
Trying to, you know, build up the hip hop culture here or be part of it. You know, we were breakdancing on the streets, probably in some cellars with some card boxes on the floor and stuff like that.
So cool.
Yeah. And now you have hip hop classes. Everybody knows it's very clean.
What do you think?
I think that's
what do
great.
You think? Because you were from the, like, when there was nothing, and now you see like old people have access to, like, how to say, DJing app, music application, podcasts, you know, like we have everything on phone. Like, do you see, what's your reflection about this?
My reflection, I mean, now I'm 47 years old. But for me, it's this is a dream come true in a way, because everybody has the chance and the possibility to make music, to make a movie. 20 years ago, it wasn't the same thing. To be able to record a song, you have to have money, first of all, to try to get into a studio, because the studios were very expensive. And nobody was like, you know, you can't just go to a studio and record something. And then you have to have the skills. You have to learn how to record. Now it's much more easy in many ways. And I think it's fantastic in the way that it gives the chance to a lot more people to do whatever you dream about.
Yeah.
The dream is a little bit closer.
Yeah. Was it easy to find a studio in the city back in the days?
You always had to go, like, I remember probably, I don't remember exactly, but you had to probably go to the other part of the city because somebody knew somebody that probably had access to a studio, and he probably had 1 or 2 hours you could be there. But in that same process, we didn't have no experience of recording in studios. So it was hard in that way too. But at the same time, we learned from nothing.
Learning by doing, huh?
Learning by doing, and that's, I think, is very, very good.
Yeah.
That's something also that I come to realize exists in Sweden in the way of the Studieförbund. That is that if you're a group of people that want to learn something, you will learn from each other, and you can get a little bit of money or a place to learn what you want to learn together. And that makes you develop.
Yeah.
And it's something, I think there's something great here in Sweden that exists.
Yeah.
Studieförbund or something like that.
So 19 years old, you start to get like real money for what you do.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was part of the group, the Latin Kings here, which set a really big mark in Sweden because I think our first single came in 1993.
It's like when I was born.
You know? So great things happened in 93. But so from that time,
yeah,
we made an album in 94. Actually, I had two groups kind of like in the same time, Infinite Mass and Latin Kings. So Latin Kings released their album in 94 and Infinite Mass in 1995. And we did an album. We did it our way.
Nice.
Because that's the only way that we knew. Because and it became successful.
Wow! So people like it.
Yeah, we won Grammys and everything.
Wow!
So from that point, it's like music became my profession.
Yeah, and you went around in the city, like in Sweden, to play and so.
How I started, yeah. You can say so. I mean, we were in the whole of Sweden. We were touring the whole Sweden. And before that, it's like, we didn't really travel too much. So it was like, wow, we came to this city. I wonder how it is.
So you but now you're DJing, right? Or what you try different things, but
like I said, if we go back to the hip hop culture when I started, I did a little bit of everything. I did a little bit of breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, rapping, and so on.
Yeah.
But what really stick to me was rapping.
Okay.
I was a rapper first. And then from there, I started to make my own music together with other friends and learning about the technology and learn how to make. And then through the years, it resulted that I started to, buy a sampler, a keyboard, buy some speakers, tape players to record. And I started to build up my own studio.
Nice.
So from like early 90s, I always had a studio. In the beginning, probably it was not so advanced, but I started to build it up. And then I had a studio. I used to have it at home. And then from that day, I always had a studio somewhere. Now I have a studio here in the city.
Cool.
So that became a thing. And I think that was very important for me to have a studio because especially then, if you had a studio, there was a lot of people coming through, people met, you always had something. And when you meet people, then creative things come out, And then from there, I started to produce other artists. I started to do my own things. We started a label called Topaz. We made music videos.
Nice.
And we made everything in-house. So, I think that one thing that made me strong or us strong was, we had to do everything from nothing. And and during that process, we learned and we developed. And then me becoming a DJ, I wasn't really original a hip-hop DJ. But when we started our label, through friends and stuff, we started to talk about building our own sound system, and in the sense of a reggae dancehall sound system, because we started to do a lot of reggae and dancehall music, and from that we wanted to have a place to play the music, and so we started to do our own clubs. So naturally, I became a DJ there. The whole DJ thing. And that's what I think that is also another key of why I've been surviving making music all these years, because it gives me a broader, skill. I mean, I could DJ. Okay, make a little money there. I can write songs, make a little money there. I can do some production, make a little money there. We can do a music video for somebody. We can make a little money there. I have the studio. We release our songs. We can make a little. So all that has made what made me survive through music.
It's amazing, because when I joined Dayfree for 1 year ago, 2021, I saw you like in the different events that we do here in the company. You're DJing, and it's so cool, and you're also amazing DJ. So and now I'm so happy to hear the story behind what do you do.
And I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I've been doing so much. I've been performing with different groups too. We've been touring in the States with different bands. We've been music has taken me everywhere.
Yeah,
almost.
But why now you changed field? You got
That's
into lighting. What happened?
I don't really know what happened. But the truth is like this.
Tell us what you work with now before you start the story.
I'm a lighting engineer. That's the title. Yeah. And that means that I work mostly with the technical stuff within lighting here. But I do a bit of lighting design too. But that's what we do. And as I work at Light Bureau, which is part of A3, we do everything that has to do with light.
Yeah.
I mostly work outdoors with lighting outdoors, parks, and roads, and
we will get into the project that you work with. But take us back now. What made you?
So what happened was that being in the music business, you never know what happens.
In which sense?
In the sense of 1 year you can make a lot of money, and the year after probably you wouldn't make that much money, and that struggle is okay when you are, especially because especially when you're kind of young, it doesn't really matter if you don't have so much money. You fix it somehow, and then so that has been a little bit of my life. It's like, oh shit, there's not so much money coming in this period. Maybe I should do something else. And all of a sudden, boom, you get a lot of money because, I don't know, something became a hit or something like that. And but then I started to see, wait, I have to see if I can have something on the side in case of that my music thing doesn't really, hold.
Cover your...
Yeah. And I'm getting old. So maybe I could study, and maybe I should study now before I get too old and I can't concentrate.
Yeah, okay.
And then I said, I've always been interested in electrical stuff. So I said, maybe I can become an electrician. And I started to look for that kind of studies. But then somebody told me, no, you should study electrical engineering. And I said, okay. And I enrolled, and I got into the class, and I started to study that.
Nice.
And I studied electrical engineering for 2 years.
Okay.
And I said, shit, man, I haven't been in school for a long while. I wonder what happened. But when I got there, it was really fun.
Okay, that's nice.
And I was sitting in, maybe back in the days, I was in the back of the class. Now I was in the front.
Oh, that's cool. Very interested in a subject and
really
being good.
It's true. And it was really nice. it was hard. It was hard to study, of course. Always hard to study, but it was interesting.
Engineering is hard.
Yeah.
Engineering is
I know.
like
So I was like, shit. But then I learned a lot, and and I made some new friends, and I got another energy.
Yeah.
And when I was studying to electrical engineering, you have to do a certain part of the
program.
The program. You have to do some internship.
Yeah.
And I think that to our school, Light Bureau came, but they were named OF Lighting before.
Okay.
And a lot of different engineering consultant companies came, to present themselves.
Yeah.
And I said, lighting. Well, I wasn't really especially interested in lighting. But then I was thinking, but that sounds interesting.
What other option you had?
I mean, I could
anything related to electricity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be any company that works with electrical engineering.
Yeah.
And then I started to apply for it here, and then they accepted me.
Internship.
Yeah. So I started, and I was like, wow. When I came here, I was very very impressed by the skills that everybody had, and the lighting design gave me a whole new. It was like a new door was open. It was like, wow, I didn't really know it was like this and how important it was.
Yeah, exactly.
I only seen lighting design through the stages, which is impressive too.
Yeah.
But I was only thinking about it that's what lighting design is.
It's not like about city scale or outdoors.
I wasn't really thinking too much about that. Of course, you could see that, but I wasn't looking at it in that sense. So when I started, I said, shit, this is... if I'm going to work with this, because I was studying, but not thinking that I was going to start to work with what I was studying.
Okay.
I was studying thinking that this gives me an extra leg, an extra thing that probably I could, if anything happens. But then when I got here, I was like, whoa, if I'm going to work with this is where I want to work.
Shit.
Because especially at that time, our section was very international, with people from Brazil, the other one from India, and from Italy.
That's so cool, no?
Yeah, and I was like, wow, and it became very interesting.
Yeah.
Especially because everybody has different backgrounds.
Yeah.
You can, and especially because everybody were so skilled, and in a way it became a continuation with music, because even if I do a lot of electrical engineering, there is a very creative part in lighting design, which really caught my eye too.
Nice.
So that's the story. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna work here and see what happens. It gives me experience, and it was a little bit when. I'm too old to really feel that, but it was a little bit. You can compare it to when hip hop came to Sweden.
Really,
like, wow,
same feelings that you got a kind
not
of
the same. I'm too old to feel that, but kind of like, wow, it's so interesting, and
But wait, before you continue, like I just will knock on wood. You say I am old, but you look younger than me, by the way. No, really.
No.
It's fun story because
I think it's the lighting.
No, because when I met you, I'll be like, oh, cool. There's a guy working lighting. We're same age, so. Also, we're doing same jokes. I understand you understand me, but then when you told me that that you have kids and you're 45, 47, I'll be like, shit.
Yeah.
It's me who should be 47.
No, I don't know. I think that
You do surgery operation for your face?
Not yet. I have to work more here at AFRI to make more money to be able to afford it.
So zero.
No, but I think that I got that. I don't know. That's how it is, and I'm happy it's like that.
You should be.
But when I was young, I looked younger too, and that I can say is disadvantage too, because you go to the bank, they don't want to. They look at you. They look at you so young,
like a little boy.
I'm gonna tell you the story. When I started to make money,
yeah,
I said I should have to open a bank account.
Yeah,
I went to the bank. They said, no, we don't. And I was really like, what? I can't open a bank account. No, because it was very problematic.
Because you look very young.
I don't know. I think so. I think that was part of the thing.
But
and probably they were, oh, where's the money coming from? And
yeah.
But that's a disadvantage because the people probably don't take you that serious when you look so young.
Oh yeah. So
okay, maybe not when I'm 47, but when you're younger than that,
I understand.
They look at you as a kid. They probably don't take.
I understand your point.
Words so serious.
Cool, but now you should be very happy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
So tell me, tell us more about the project that you work with as a lighting engineer, as you call it, right?
Yeah.
Explain to us, what do you do from that you got the project from the client until you delivered? Explain to us with details. We would love to know more.
Oh, there's so much. Basically, I can give an example of the typical work I do. And they're gonna probably what's it called? They're probably gonna do some. They're gonna do some. What do you call it? Restoration, or they wanna rebuild an area. For example, I did a project that they started to build now in Tiensta, between Tiensta and Spånga, which is Tienstadalen, and they want to broaden a little
walk path
with. I think they want to have so they can have bike lanes and stuff, which is very good.
Yeah,
that's one of a great thing. I think they're doing here in Stockholm. They can ride a bike almost everywhere.
Yeah, I'm very proud of this.
I think it's great. So I think they started with that, and then from there, they wanted to do more like a barbecue place. They want to do a little hill where young people can play, and also like maybe teenagers sit down, and because we work a lot with landscape architects, like with you guys.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ideas, and it's very great ideas. And then we have to try to see if we can incorporate light, and then the light there's two parts of the lighting, you can say. I think one is the effect belysning, which is like lighting as an effect that that brings you joy.
Yeah.
Not the lighting that we need light here because of this. So it's a scale weight. You have to see, okay, this is light. This gives a little lighting effect, but at the same time, if we use this, you make the walk path safe, and you can
more welcoming.
So that's the kind of things that we do. And so then you have to see, okay, there's a little tunnel here. This tunnel lead this, and there's gonna be art on the tunnel walls. Okay, so this good if we, you can put some lighting in the walls. Maybe, for example, in Tienstadalen, there were a lot. Everything, it depends on the budget too.
Of course,
that's always the thing. So you always have to try to find a good balance.
Yeah.
So there in Tienstadalen, they wanted to have speakers so people could connect themselves to their phones, and then we were planning the stage is going to be there, a little stage, outdoor stage, where you have like spotlights that whenever somebody's on stage, the spotlight would move and the lighting would, I think, which I think is a great idea. So I don't know, that's the kind of things that we do. And then we have to see, okay, usually I'm working with a light designer. Sometimes I do it myself, and I'm getting more into lighting design now, and which for me is very interesting, more than before. In the beginning, it was more like, we need.
What is the differences between like light engineer and light designer?
If you're only a designer, probably you only say, okay, we want to have this kind of light here.
Like you do the concept and
then somebody
design.
tells, and then that person said to me, hey, how are we gonna connect the cables? What kind
Okay.
of cables do you need?
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Mm.
If you want to say it roughly,
Yeah.
but the two things merge to each other too. So I've done more light design than in the beginning.
Mm.
Like I don't probably need to have a special designer with me when I do stuff,
Mm.
like maybe before.
Yeah. Tell me, like, give me a project and explain to me, like your work more in details, like drawings or measuring or, you know.
Um, for example, we work in a project in Solna now. So earlier today we were there, and what we were doing, we were looking at the the poles, the lighting poles that were there, and see, okay, are they good? Should we still have them? Is the height good? If we're gonna change the luminaire, should we change it? We went to a tunnel. They're gonna build through around that tunnel. Okay, what kind of lighting do we need here? How can we connect it? Okay, we have to connect this cable to this, and we were just measuring and taking pictures, for
Okay.
example. And then from there, then we know, then we have to talk to the people in Solna Stad, which is
Solna municipality.
yeah, and see, and try to agree on what kind of poles we're gonna have, the height, what kind of light luminaire we're gonna have. Um, if we're gonna do this in the tunnel, or there's a little stair, there's some stairs here. Should we have some handle lighting or not, and stuff like that? And then, we have to check that everything is workable. We do some lighting beräkningar, what do you call it? Calculations,
Calculation.
to see if it holds the standards they're supposed to be according to the rules and according to what we want to project in the probably tunnel or something, if it looks good. And then from there we do drawings to show the connection and the type, and like big handling or whatever.
Yeah, the technical drawings.
Yeah, that we do. A lot of landscape architects do.
Yeah.
So that's basically it.
Mm.
But then it could be small projects, like just one new walking path that needs lighting, to the whole of Husby, another place that's gonna rebuild most of it.
Yeah.
Then it takes a longer time, and there's a lot of more people to agree with and to see if it works, and what maybe the landscape architects is thinking, if it works good, maybe if they're gonna do new buildings. So that's,
Yeah.
in accordance to everything.
How do you, because I saw you, like, some days you come with different lightings, you test them. So how do you do that, or from where do you get it?
Oh, we have to talk to the suppliers,
Mm.
and then we say, hey, we're interested in this this luminaire. Is it possible for us to borrow it, because we want to see if it works for what we're doing here in this thing? And then we have a lighting lab downstairs, which is great, that we can try things. We have different heights and see how it reflects on the wall. We can have different materials. We can build up a new thing. Our section also sometimes develop luminaires.
Yeah.
So we test all those things, and then these luminaires, sometimes we have to be on site to see if they do the
So you
work.
take it to the site,
Yes,
actual site.
yeah. And in the summer, if we do that, that's late nights. In the winter, it's early, but it's cold. But it's really nice. I mean, it's that's one part of the job I like.
Yeah.
Because sitting at the office is not great every day. So moving around is great. You probably go there inside, try this, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
So
as an engineer, I want to ask you about the drawings. What do you put in the drawings? What do you draw? Like the technical drawings. What do you need to show?
Planritningar.
It's like the plan view.
Plan view from
the top.
From the top.
Yeah.
basically. That's to see, okay, this, for example, if it's a park, okay, there's going to be a pole here, another pole here. It's going to be, polare, or a spot here, spot here. And then we place them on the drawings.
Okay.
And then if there's more, sometimes we do section drawings, so you can see the height and see where probably the luminaire is gonna point. We do detailed drawings if some cabling has to go through
In a special way.
But most of the time, if it would be like a walk path or whatever, it's in ground,
On the ground.
cabling.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. And sometimes you need to have a new I don't find the words in English.
Which one?
Like a elscope, like sometimes
electricity box.
You need a new electricity box, and then you have to find out which kind is good and works for this, and you have to probably have some permit from the company that supplies the current and stuff like that.
Is it challenging here with the weather, with the like snow, sun? How do you deal with different products and lightings?
Well, it's not that challenging, I think. I mean, the weather's been like this ever since. So there's a culture of knowing from the luminaire companies and from the pole companies and from everybody that, okay, we have to do it in this way, and that's why you follow. But the things that is becoming challenging, which is good, I think, is that now you have to think more. Lately, I feel remember I only worked this for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
But I noticed that nature plays a big impact now. People have more respect to nature and animals. Like, for example, if you have a nice tree, immediately you're thinking, oh, we're gonna put some spots, to light up the tree in the night so it becomes beautiful.
Yeah.
But then you have somebody that said, wait a minute. There's a flora, there's some insects, there's some birds that need this to be dark.
Yeah.
Or maybe some some bats.
Yeah.
That
like Batman.
So, like Batman. So you need to, you need to have that in your mind, which I think is a good thing, because nowadays with LED, which is very accessible and very cheap, because it's cheaper to produce than before, plus it doesn't draw that much effect like the old things. People tend to just put lights everywhere,
right?
So I think that if you have that in mind, that you have to wait, this is a nice park, we need to have it dark at certain times,
Yeah.
It can't be lights all the time just because we people maybe gonna use that park in the night.
Is it like something new happening here in Sweden, or no? It's being like.
I think that is. I'm not gonna say too much, but I think it's something happening internationally.
Okay.
Which I think is good.
That we human pay more attention and respect to the nature, to the other.
Yeah, and that's something that I feel is great for especially Stockholm, because there's a lot of things that are getting built here. Stockholm is growing.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, we still have a lot of nature, and I think that if we have that good balance, that to respect nature, is a good thing.
It's interesting because, like, when I talk to Kai people, to you now, and to your colleagues as well, and they say, we need to respect more the darkness in the city. And for me, like, it's interesting, like you're working with lights, and now you're telling me we should pay respect to the darkness.
Yeah, because
it's like things are shifting, and
I think so. I mean, you don't need to have lights all the time. I mean, I don't know how you say it. Some people say that if everything is light up, then it's more. It feels safer.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think that you have, like I said, you have to have a little balance, because if you, let's say you're projecting the light in a road, you will see the road clear.
Yeah,
Okay, you see
true.
every stone, but maybe you wouldn't see the surroundings because you're not lighting up the surroundings, right? So maybe you don't have to concentrate and put so much lighting on the road. Maybe you have to give a little light in the surroundings so it feels safer for you. I think, I don't know.
No, but this is like your perspective,
Yeah.
and I'm interested to hear that, because when I do community workshops and so on about how we develop, what are the issues, what are the needs, and I can say in all the dialogues I have with the people, they tell me like it's unsafe because of the lighting.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, okay, but why? So what kind of lighting that makes us feel safe?
I don't know. I'm gonna give you another example.
Yeah, give me.
This is just my feelings, and I'm just talking about feelings. I'm not saying what's technically right or wrong. I went to collect an ID card for my daughter in actually in Rinkeby.
Yeah.
And because they have a new police station there.
Yeah.
They just recently built it like 2 years ago, which I think I was like, oh shit, and I don't think I think it's terrible. It doesn't look good at all.
Like the building.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then I feel a little bit sad too, because it's my old neighborhood, and now they're building a big police station with hecte, with jail and stuff.
Okay.
It's like, it feels so sad, And then I see, and I'm walking around it, and then I see some lights. And the lights they're having around the facade are very blandande. What do you call it?
It's like focus, so you get blind.
Yeah, they blind you a lot. And then I'm thinking, why are they doing like this? Is this to show terror or something?
So you cannot walk with open eyes.
It gives you that you don't even look there, because it looks a little bit terrifying.
Yeah, I understand you.
So in that sense, I don't feel it make you feel safe,
even if you're walking next to the police station.
Yeah. So I think that's a good thing, because when you look at movies and they do an interrogation part, they always put the light in your face.
Yeah.
Okay, is that what you feel safe? No, you don't really feel safe. So I think it's a balance. You have to find. People tend to say we need some more light to make us feel safe. But then, okay, where are you going to portray that light? Where are you going to turn the what do you want to see when you have the light? What is it you want to see? You want to see the road, or you want to put everything? Because
it's impossible to light up this in the entire city, no? Or
probably, I don't know, but I don't like that. It has to be, if you want to feel romantic with the one you love, you don't want to have you don't want to light up the whole room, right? I'm thinking maybe you want to feel more comfy and stuff. But I think it depends on where you put the light.
And how much light also.
How much light and what you want to see to make the people feel.
So when you walk around in the city, do you reflect like, good light, bad lighting, good lighting, bad lighting? Really?
I'm getting crazy. I'm looking at everything all the time.
Potential clients, no?
No, not like that. I'm just,
No, I mean, like you suggest improving.
Because you're working with it, and then you're thinking, why did it do like that? I wonder, why did you place it there? Maybe they didn't have any electricity, all that stuff.
Do you have like a interesting place with a good lighting that you have it in mind now, that you think they really did a good job?
I don't.
Is there one like you have it like this?
I don't really know. That's a good question.
But you don't have one like. Okay.
I think that most of the time you reflect on what's bad.
Yeah.
When it's good,
you don't save
and then that means that it's good. you know,
Yeah, you just
they did their thing. But then you have like this of some like, well, this is because we did it, but Östermalmshallen, you
yeah.
know, that's a really nice facade. You can see they did a good work there, but has nothing to do with making people feel safer. Probably has to do with people that make the city look nicer.
But it's also maybe a real there is a like a relation. If it looks nice, then you feel safe,
Yeah,
because that
it's
again,
true.
like safety about so many elements. So I have also an interesting question from my point of view. What do you bring from music world to lighting world?
I really that's I don't know. I don't know if I'm the right person to say that. That has to probably come from
No,
somebody else.
I'm
But my
yeah,
experience,
like your
I
journey.
think my journey, and it probably hasn't to be exactly because I'm working with lighting, but I have um I really 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 like. And now I'm gonna talk about working at Avery.
Yeah,
I really really like the idea that you doing this pod here.
thank you.
And for me that's something creative, and it's not very very different, but it's something that gives another edge of what you do every day. And I think that mentality is needed in not only lighting, but we need to have this thing that it doesn't feel only like a company that has to bring in money all the time. You have to have something that's something that make you more interested, and that maybe breaks apart from what you actually is doing. Like,
Like
maybe if
if
for example, when they asked me to be DJing at when they were reopening the office,
yeah,
I think that's great. I think those things probably is something that I'm bringing, but
yeah.
it doesn't have to be precisely about lighting. I'm
Okay,
just
I
saying
got your point.
overall.
Like it's for you, it's not only needed to be on a project, but in the everyday life in the
Yeah,
office.
I think so, and I think that probably it's because I'm coming from a different world. When we're dealing with music, okay, we're gonna do this. Are we gonna do a big party?
Yeah,
What we're gonna do in the party? We're gonna give a CD to everybody.
yeah, yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Yeah, because then just to do something. Oh, okay, maybe we should do a video that somebody's jumping from this. You know, I think that's something probably I could bring in here. Something that's a little bit different.
yeah.
Thinking about everybody's talking about you have to think outside the box,
Exactly. Yeah.
but nobody's doing it. I think that what you're doing is
Thank you,
that, and I
thank you.
think that is important because that gives you more energy,
Yeah.
and it gives everybody around it more energy too.
I will say also interesting or what I feel. I like the floor here, like the 10th floor in our office,
Mm.
because like in this little area, like where we are sitting, we have a podcast studio, we have a lighting lab where you test the
Mhm.
lighting, we have a DJ, we have a landscape architect, traffic
Yeah,
engineer. It's so many different disciplines in this
yeah,
space. And what I love here also, like in Avery, that there is a space, all talents, creativity are welcome, which is
yeah,
so nice. I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm so happy that I got the office here at AFA as a podcast studio,
yeah.
and we are like an engineering and architecture company.
And I saw this. Hey, what's this? A mic. For me,
Yeah, you see
it's
this in
my
your
life.
studio.
But what is it doing here? When you first started, I was like, wow, that's good.
Yeah, that's
I
really
get so
nice.
happy. It's like
I'm
that's
happy.
I think is needed.
Yeah.
And I've been working here 2 years, and I hope the little thing I have from working outside of
Yeah.
this, that I don't lose it yet.
Ah. No, you should take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's something I can bring, and also I think that being working with art, music, and because I've been doing also a lot of album covers and stuff like that, it's working here is another step.
Yeah.
That's I can find similarities to.
So do you agree that, because okay, why I ask you this question, because usually when you see a person with do different interests and passions, you be like, oh, how do you combine them? Like I had my friend, she was also on the podcast, she do makeup, and I told her, oh, you should try to find the combination between makeup and architecture, or makeup and urban planning. So but what I hear from you now, maybe you don't need, like, just you don't need to link them.
No, maybe not.
Yeah, just like leave them and
But
do
I have maybe you don't probably don't have to link them, but coming from but having that other world inside of you
yeah,
probably gives something.
yeah, some another
Yeah,
touch. And
I don't know. Yeah.
but you don't think that, oh, I do music, I have somehow to combine them together, to link them together, so my story is stronger? Or
No,
no, you don't think like
I
this?
don't know. I don't know. I've no, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Really, I don't know what to tell you about that.
cool. So thanks for telling us about your music journey, your lighting journey. And I wish you, like, I think you just started, right? Like 2 years.
I was thinking about that when you gave me like, oh, we're gonna talk about this, and I'm thinking, wow, I've been working most of my life with music,
Yeah,
many, many, many years.
yeah.
But wait, I just worked 2 years with lighting. Maybe I'm not.
The
I don't have that deep foundation about lighting.
I understand, but in the end, it's about your journey, your
And
perspective, and
yeah, but 2 years is a lot. But
I
coming
understand.
to this
Yeah,
business, maybe it's not that much.
I understand you. Of course, I understand you. So in this podcast, also, I ask my guest about smart cities. So from your point of view, how do you define a smart city? Or when you hear a smart city, what do you think about?
Well, naturally, when you hear smart cities, like okay, you have uh, speaking of the lighting, okay, the lighting is off and then turn off when somebody passes the car path, la 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 la. It can dim down and stuff like that. So I think that, um, but also if you see it in another way, a smart city could be wait. We're trying to cut down on cars with diesel and gas. Okay, what to do with it? Okay, maybe you should uh, put more on the public transport. Maybe public transport should be free. Maybe that's a smart city. I understand. So
Hmm.
people would travel more. Maybe I'm riding my electrical
Scooter?
scooter every day. Well, now in the winter is hard. I just have to choose my day. Maybe they should fix better roads for that.
Hmm.
Because if you go into the traffic, you're always stressed with the big cars and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Maybe that's another smart city too. I don't know. That's another perspective. Maybe
Hmm.
you have to think. Maybe it's the infrastructure you have to think about.
So smarter doesn't need to be a device or
I
application.
think it's very the talk about smart city is very broad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in lighting is maybe some sensors, and now the lighting. I think we haven't. I don't think that Stockholm and Sweden has developed too much into the smart city thinking about public lighting because I don't think they have really come up with an. There's so many different ways to that. There's so many things called smart city or sense. There's no standard yet to
Okay.
do it, and also the as the lighting in the city works in a different way. It turns off at a certain time. It turns on at a certain time. It turns off, and you need to have a constant current. And it's a big it's a big machinery that has to everybody has to have to agree on what to use. I think
Okay.
before we can get there.
So you think we should have a kind of standardized lighting, right? system.
I guess because everybody, I think now they're trying different stuff still,
Okay.
and nobody really know. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
I don't work too much in
Mm.
that sense of a smart city yet.
Yeah.
I know some people be, but it's most of the time there's test projects,
Yeah.
and I think that if it is, I think a lot's gonna happen, but it's not there yet.
Okay.
I guess.
Mm. Mm.
Um, I don't know. How do
Inter-
you see a smart city?
well, that's why I'm starting the podcast, like
Yeah.
asking people. But
Mhm.
for me, like, so far, is smart city more about people, about us being smart.
Mm,
That's nice if you have technology that help us to
mm.
be smarter, which is great. But I think it's about people being smart and how we use our resources. We don't have so many planets
No,
yet.
no.
We don't know if we're gonna move to another planet.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's more about people. Like, how can we be smarter
Mm.
and being good to each other, being social, as you mentioned, like paying, giving respect to other, to the animals, to the trees.
I
That's
think
also a
so.
way of
Because
being smart.
basically, that's how. If you're getting deep into it, that's how it
Yeah, yeah.
started. I mean, you start. We didn't have all this stuff when
No.
when the first human beings were on Earth. So you have to find a way
Yeah,
to play or not play. I don't know, to work with nature
exactly. Because
and
I
animals.
believe also, like, we have our mission is much more bigger than only doing a project and submitting and
Mm.
deadlines and celebrating.
Yeah.
Like, there's something deeper, and this is that smartness comes, like, we need to think. So
But
is
I think that I feel uh, that our. I'm looking at my kids. I think that that generation is great.
yeah.
Even if they grow up with smartphones and stuff, and you can they have it so easy. It's just
Mm.
or they're only gonna be into computers. I think that they have another mind state
Yeah.
that's gonna help
Yeah.
in the future. I think I'm getting too old, even if I can say smart stuff like, oh, we should think about the nature.
Yeah.
It's them that really gonna take care of it properly.
Mm. I also like talking about the generations on, like, each generation have their own stuff and their own challenges.
Yeah,
Like, in your generation, there was not how to say developed technology, but you had some other tools.
yeah.
Mine as well. Now I make a like two generation between me and you.
No, but I don't. That's
No,
how it
but I
is.
think, like, uh, many people say, like, about the young kids, they don't know anything, they have phones,
Yeah.
life is easy, life is soft.
No.
But I mean, like, come on, wait, they're gonna have their challenges as well. Then they have, this is the life.
No, that's how it is,
Yeah.
and also the human being adapts.
Yeah.
I was not crying because I didn't have a mobile phone because I didn't know what a mobile phone was when I was small. You understand? We
Yeah, yeah,
adapt, and we have this. Okay, what we're gonna do with it?
exactly.
It's the same with the next generation, but I think the next generation coming are very much. They know the world better,
Aware.
more aware,
Yeah.
and they see everything. You can see not everything, but most of the things that are happening in other parts
Mm,
of the
mm,
world,
mm,
and
mm.
new things and new music and new movies, and
Yeah.
you can access the movies and stuff easier.
Yeah, information
Yeah,
and so on.
information too.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a more there's a healthier way of thinking of the young generation.
Yeah, I think
Hopefully,
hope
that's how I see it.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. So, moving to the last section of this episode, I'm enjoying the talking to you, and I don't want to take much more time. um, if you were allowed to create one rule or add one thing in our cities, what will you add in all cities on this planet?
Wow, but you mean about anything?
Yeah, yeah, like something you add to our cities.
I think that in Stockholm we have to add more. more. Now I'm sounding so negative, but I think we need to add more love into each other.
Love.
Love.
Explain to me more.
Um, I think Sweden is great. Stockholm is great. We have everything, and everybody can. We don't have poverty like maybe in other countries and stuff like that. But I think the relationship between people need to be warmer.
Okay.
People tend to use that we respect each other too much, not to talk to each other. I respect you. Oh, I'm not gonna. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe
Disturb you, or
maybe he's stressed. I'm not gonna say nothing to him. We need more Maybe it's more communication.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the communication on the phones, which is also important. I'm saying the communication in daily life.
The face-to-face one.
I think so. We need more of that in Stockholm.
Cool. Interesting.
I think, but now is a pandemic time, so maybe it should be the opposite now. But
in
overall,
general,
I think in general, because everybody here in Stockholm is so independent, you don't have to depend on nobody to survive, right?
True.
But that independency becomes an
isolation,
like an isolation from each other.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't ask him for this because I'm intruding in his space. So more. Maybe it's more. What did I say? Communication.
Communication, yeah. Exactly.
That was like more like a philosophical aspect of it.
It's interesting because usually I get that we should. Some people add more lights, more trees, more more like physical stuff. But now you're coming with love. Interesting.
I think so, because what happens if you don't communicate, then you start to separate.
Yeah.
Like a group of people, maybe, and then that grows segregation and maybe racism or class or class division. So I think it's a communication.
Yeah,
I think so, and that makes you more open-minded to everything. That's why I'm also saying I think the new generation that's coming, they have a very healthy mind. I think they all can see more of other people's culture in another way, and probably that gives them more communicational skills.
Yeah. Social skills as well.
Yeah, social skills.
This is interesting. When I hear people talking about the soft values, things that you cannot like see, but you can feel. Interesting answer, actually. And what if you can remove one thing from our cities, what will you remove?
What can I remove from what city? I don't really know. I don't.
Okay,
I think that if you continue on that the thing I was talking about, that we need more love or more communication. I think that we have to remove the barriers, the non physical barriers that we have to each other. You talk, it sounds very like hippie type, but talk to your neighbor, talk to the person that passed. Sounds very old school of me saying it, but I think that is very important. And maybe don't be afraid to talk to somebody, because you might think that that person is affected by you talking to.
I understand.
Person.
Yeah.
Because also that what happens is that we tend to also prioritize work too much in this. I don't know if it's the Western world or whatever you want to call it. And at the end of the day, you put more time on your work than in your family or the ones that are close to you. And so we should work less. Remove the working hours.
This is the solution.
I don't know.
No, but it's there are many ways to, how to say, to bring more love between people. But again, I'm very happy to hear this kind of answer, like talking about soft values more than physical.
Yeah, I think so.
So in the end of this episode, I have 2 more questions.
Okay.
The first one is, what are your 3 takeaway messages to the listeners?
According to what we have spoken.
Yeah, like from your journey music, from your lighting journey, love, smart city. Choose 3 messages that you want to deliver to people.
I think that maybe a summary of what we're talking about, safer lighting. I think that a place doesn't become safer just because you put more light to it. You have to know what you're gonna shine the light on.
Yeah,
I think that's one basic thing. Maybe. What else did we say?
something from your music world.
I can say that it's not too late to study in your old ages. You might
True.
find, you might find something else too. Now I can add my music experience, and I can add a little bit of my lighting experience into my life, just because I studied. Sometimes you don't even have to study, but don't be afraid to study.
Yeah.
Always add something to you,
Nice.
even if you feel like you're in old age.
And the last one.
The last one is that this is probably hasn't have to do anything to what we're saying, but a lot of people think that I changed my career.
Yeah.
That I stopped making music and I started in the lighting business. But that is not true. Just because I'm working with this doesn't mean I left my music. And I think it's very important not to leave your first passion. If it's not destroying you, of course.
Yeah.
If it's destroying it, you have to cut. But I think that you can do both.
Yeah.
Maybe not with the same energy, but you have to have it. And for me, it's very important. Like you said, oh, you DJ. Yeah, still DJ. If they call me, I'm there. Because I need that doses. I need that feeling. And I think that when I need it and I feel good, I make other people feel good too.
Yeah.
So that's something that just because I'm working with this doesn't mean I left my old sort of life.
Yeah. Okay. I said one question. I have just a small question. So, like, people from your music community, when you enter the lighting field, did they told you, oh, why he went there? He's not anymore in our community.
People, what happens is that most people are like I said, they think that I stopped working with music. But what actually has happened is that I have less time to make music. So people, when we're gonna link up in the studio? You have to have time. We have to make new songs. We have to make hits. So that's what people say.
You'd be like, I have a full-time job.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But it's also a reason for me not to work with people. Oh yeah, no, I'm working with lighting.
An excuse, huh?
So I can just choose the ones I want to work with. No, but that's people are surprised, and people are surprised that I started to study after working with music my whole life. That's one step, and then people are surprised that I like you. Oh, why did you start with lighting? I think the world, the life is full of surprises. You never know what it leads. I mean, I didn't know I was gonna work with music, but one step led to another. You meet people, you perform here, and that thing made this there, and there, and all of a sudden I'm doing this podcast interview. About
True.
smart city.
True. Wow. Yeah. So the last question on this episode is going to be you asking it. So what is your question to me and to the listeners?
Well, I don't really know what. Well, one question is to be, because people are asking me, what can you connect lighting with your music? And I'm gonna ask that question. Apart from using the lights on stage, what do you think that you can bring from music into lighting?
How do you
I'm
link
gonna
that?
ask you.
Okay, cool. Good question. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm really happy to talk to you, and keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that you even asked me to be here. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. You learned something new and also got inspired by the guest. Don't forget to share the episode on your social media and recommend it to people you think they are really interested in this topic. Thank you so much again for giving your valuable time to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif. Keep up the good work. Keep loving cities.